I'm Landon.
My name is Bryce, and today we'll be presenting to you our magnetohydrodynamic drive, or MHD drive. Let Abdullah take it away with a little bit of background information.
For the historical part, the theories of MHD drive have been around since 19th centuries, where the scientists around that time have an idea of moving seawater using magnet. In 60s, and because more research and development in plasma physics and fluid turbine physics, the concept of MHD drive have been developed, and we start to see more experiment around 60s to 80s. In 90s, the Mitsubishi Industrial, the car company all of us know, built the Yamato One, the most advanced MHD drive we have. It's achieved 7 knot speeds and 30% efficiency. Unfortunately, the Yamato One did after 1 year. So for next, we will play 2 clips. The first clip is from the movie The Hunt for Red October, and the second clip is from our experiment, include the material we used, the actual experiment, failed or success, and the major problem the MHD drive face.
This could be a Caterpillar.
A what?
A Caterpillar drive. Magnetohydrodynamic propulsion. You follow?
No.
It's like a jet engine for the water. Goes in the front, gets squirted out the back. Only it's got no moving parts, so it's very, very quiet.
Like how quiet?
It's doubtful our sonar would even pick it up. And if it did, it'd sound like whales humping or some kind of seismic anomaly. Anything but a submarine. We messed with this a couple of years ago. We couldn't make it work.
As for next part of the video, London will talk more about Lorentz law and how the electric field and magnetic field and seawater, the salt water interact with each other. And for Bryce part, he will talk about future applications and why the MHD drive Yamato One is not complete success.
So now we're going to work on the equation that makes this force possible. So you're all familiar with the right-hand rule by now. So what you'll want to keep in mind is we have a magnetic field from our magnet on the bottom, thrust of the ions being moved by the electrical current, and then you eventually get your outer force. So to visualize that better, we have our Q represented by the ion separation. We have our electrical field represented by V, and that's going from the positive lead to the negative lead. And then for B, this is looking at the side of our contraption. The magnetic field is going to be going up. So the magnetic field will be going up, the electrical will be going from the side. And using your right-hand rule, you get a current going down the canal to create force.
Now I'd like to talk a little bit about Professor Dabian's version of this project. So he actually made a more complete version where he created an MHD drive placed inside of a water bottle to make a boat, and he actually created this for his classes. So they recreated this experiment that we did as part of their Physics 131 course. He actually had a really great report that we used as inspiration for our project, and it really helped with explaining some of the equations. So now I want to talk a little bit about the use cases of a drive like this. So mainly it's used in the research vessel like the Yamato One that Abdullah had mentioned before. The main benefit to this is that since it is mostly silent, it's not going to disturb the wildlife that's at the bottom of the ocean that they're trying to study, along with there's no blades or anything that can cause harm to the environment. So this is a picture of the Yamato 1 submarine that we had referenced before. So this was developed in 1990, and it actually stopped being used in 1991, so it was very short-lived, but it is actually really interesting to see it. It's kind of a unique design of a boat. So another application for a drive like this would be in a military stealth application, which is what the Hunt for Red October movie was referencing towards. There's no official confirmation of an MHD drive being used for military applications, but you know, it was also the Cold War times, and who knows what was really going on. But it is a possible use case of an MHD drive. So a few of the drawbacks to the usability of an MHD drive, as you can see in this picture, salt doesn't really interact well with submarines or boats that are under the water for too long, and having a magnetic field and an electric current really don't help with that. I don't know if you could see in our presentation video, there's some bubbles that are going around the electrodes, and those bubbles are pulling off little pieces of the electrodes the longer it runs. So if you're using this sort of MHD drive underwater for too long, it's going to just be eating away the ship the entire time. This is one of the major reasons that the Yamato 1 only ran for 1 year, because at the end of its lifetime, it was just started to break down. So although there may be some drawbacks to the MHD drive, there are some similar technologies like a Hall spacecraft thruster, which is used by ASU on their Psyche satellite. And we can use an MHD drive to test a system like this. A little brief explanation. Instead of using electricity, this uses an ionized gas that interacts with the magnetic field. So a little bit similar and an interesting concept to look into. And thank you all for listening. If you have any questions, now would be the time to ask.